mean?
Damn, triple
Because
been 3
obviously
years.
you ain't going to court because you was going to court.
Triple
Every time you go to court, they gonna let us know you going to court. So
I can't go to court for immigration if I got an open
nah,
gun
what
case.
about the gun case? Bullshit.
I can't go to court for immigration if I got
They
an
will
open
give
gun
you
case.
your
gang.
time.
Wack that told him that though. Because his statement in is Wack.
And I just want to say this to y'all. When they raided my houses and my property, they was asking about Wack. Wack, loose cannon, 600, and this internet stuff.
Wack 100's been shouting snitch for years like it's his full-time job. But now, a leaked wiretap tied to 21 Savage just flipped the script. Folks are digging up that old 2005 federal gun case like it's brand new again. Now here's the wild part. What if Wack's been double-crossing this whole time? Just imagine it. Dude talks non-stop, calling out rats left and right. Then boom! He reaches for his wallet, and for just a second, something shiny flashes. A badge? That tiny glimpse might have exposed everything.
Wack that told him that though. Because his statement in is Wack.
Now whether that badge moment was real or not, that's not even the craziest part. The real shocker? Who might have leaked that wiretap? Word on the street is, it came straight from 21 Savage himself. Not just some random repost. Nah, people saying he's the one who let it loose, like he'd been holding it for the perfect moment. And honestly, can you blame him? Wack's been throwing shade on 21 for years, calling him a snitch, accusing him of cooperating with ICE to fix his paperwork, even dragging his name into the whole YSL drama. And 21? He kept it cool, said a little here and there, but mostly stayed quiet, until now. If he really dropped that wiretap, it wasn't out of spite, it was strategy. That move wasn't petty, it was chess, straight up. After years of Wack sneak dissing him on Clubhouse, 21 finally fired back, but without saying a single word. That silence? Loud. Now look, if you piece it all together, it's starting to look like Wack's been out here throwing accusations left and right just to keep eyes off himself. Every time someone gets exposed, he's already screaming about it, playing defense before anyone even questions him. And get this isn't even the first time someone's linked Wack to the feds. A few months ago, reports said Big U got hit with RICO charges. But before Big U turned himself in, he dropped a video calling out Wack 100, saying straight up that he was working with the FBI. That's wild.
I just want to say this to y'all. When they raided my houses and my property, they was asking about Wack. Wack, loose cannon, 600, and this internet stuff.
Now here's where it all started feeling real shady. Before the RICO charges hit the news, before any arrests, before the paperwork even dropped, Wack already knew what was coming. He hit up Big U's wife with some urgent message, something like 911, he needs to get out now. Like, how did he know that early?
All right, so yeah, after you got that message, after you got the message, you hit up Big U's wife. You said, sis, 911. One sec, let me get solo. And you gave him a heads up.
What I tell him?
You said, one sec, let me get solo. He needs to leave. Bad. In caps, all caps. He needs to leave.
I said so bad, right?
Yeah, full bad.
Bruh, before Big U even got snatched up, Wack was already hitting up his wife? That's not a heads up. That sounds like a setup wearing a disguise. Like he knew the raid was coming because he made the call. And here's the twist. Right after Big U got locked, Wack jumped online talking wild, flipping the whole story. He started claiming Big U was the one moving grimy, even saying he had a BlackBerry he used to talk to the feds. But instead of clearing things up, all that did was make people look at Wack even harder.
Going through it. I said, yeah, I don't know nothing about this. He said, man, y'all too tight. I see Big U's signature. I see other signatures. I'm reading it. And what shook me was the police issued the device to communicate with law enforcement in form of a BlackBerry.
Like seriously, how is Wack always the first to know everything? Always in the middle of the mess, but never actually getting touched? That call to Big U's wife didn't sound like help. It felt like a double move. Like he warned the same guy he just helped line up, trying to stay close enough to the fire to watch it burn, without getting scorched himself. That's when folks really started side-eyeing Wack, like maybe he's not the street watchdog he claims to be. Maybe he's been playing a whole different game this entire time. But this mess we're seeing now, it goes way back, like 2005 kind of back. Word is, Wack 100 and his brother got pulled over in Texas. Nothing crazy at first, just speeding. Cops pull him over, ask the usual questions. Wack tells them they're headed to a funeral in Oklahoma. But then the cops ask to search the car. Wack says nah, so boom, they bring out a K9 unit. The dog sniffs out a whole stash. A shotgun, a rifle, and a pistol, all loaded. Here's the part that don't sit right. Both Wack and his brother were already convicted felons. That's straight up federal time. No question. You don't just walk from that. That kind of charge can end a whole music career before it even starts. But somehow, Wack made bail and flew back to LA like it was just another Tuesday? That ain't normal. Then boom, 2 years went by. Dead silence. No court updates, no trial, nothing. And out of nowhere, the whole case just vanishes, dismissed. But not because of lack of evidence or some courtroom mistake. Nah, the official reason? In the interest of justice. Now hold up. If you've ever seen how the system really works, especially when it comes to felons caught with loaded firearms, you know that phrase don't just pop up by accident. That's not some random act of kindness from a judge. When they say interest of justice, it usually means somebody gave something up. Wack tried to twist the story later on, said the case got dropped because the search was illegal, but that was straight cap. Court records were out there for anybody to read, and there wasn't one word about an illegal search, just a clean dismissal, no fuss, no explanation. But here's the kicker. The timing. That's what really sticks. Just a couple years later, Suge Knight, Wack's former boss at Death Row, started getting serious heat from the feds. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Suge's name popped up in a gang injunction. His whole crew got hit. Raids, wiretaps, names in black and white paperwork. But Wack, he stayed untouched. How's that even possible? His name, nowhere. Not a single mention. When Suge's crew got lit up, Wack was ghost from the paperwork. Then came that wild kidnapping case tied to Shaq. Yeah, that one involving the Main Street Crips. In the court transcripts, someone named Back popped up, making calls and leaving messages. And guess what? Word on the street is that Back was actually Wack 100 in disguise. Fast forward to now, Wack's all over the internet pointing fingers like he's the street judge, Gunna, BG, Brick Baby, 21 Savage, even Jay Diggs. Nobody's safe from Wack's accusations. He's out here acting like he sets the rules for what's real and what's not in the streets. But let's be real. That 2005 gun case doesn't match the image he's pushing. You don't just walk away from a federal case as a convicted felon carrying 3 illegal loaded weapons in your trunk unless you got crazy luck or you gave something real valuable up. And now, nearly 20 years later, a new video surfaces. And what do people spot? A police ID flashing from Wack's wallet. That moment brought everything back. Not just the badge, not just the drama, but the one question that's never been answered. What did he trade to get off so clean? It's wild because Wack built his whole brand on one word, snitch. That's his go-to. Every time a rapper gets booked or cops a plea deal, he's the first one on Clubhouse, shouting that they folded. He did it with Gunna, too. Claimed he had a 2-hour interrogation video and even threatened to leak it if Gunna didn't come clean.
Use some time. I don't know, 24 hours, 12 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 1 hour. I don't know. I'm going to give you some time, though, Gunna, for you to go ahead on and confess.
He never dropped that tape, just kept running his mouth. He even went after BG, a dude who already did over 10 years behind bars, claiming he snitched, but showed no paperwork to back it up. Even BG's former cellmate came forward and said straight up, BG stood tall and never folded once. But Wack didn't care. Kept talking like he had proof when he really had nothing. And yeah, to the surface level crowd, it kind of works. He sounds like he's got some code he lives by. But the ones who actually pay attention, they started seeing the pattern real quick. Wack gets the loudest when the pressure's on him. Every time heat creeps his way, he starts pointing fingers somewhere else. And here's the other thing. Wack records everybody. That's not how real ones move. You don't hit record on every convo unless you're planning to use it later. Or worse, hand it over. That's suspicious, period. People are starting to catch on. Some of the rappers Wack brought on to Clubhouse, they ended up catching cases after saying too much. Like Loose Cannon, went on there, talked reckless, and boom, got jammed up not long after. Makes you wonder, was that all by accident? Or was it part of the play? Now people are starting to ask the real question. Was Wack setting folks up to talk reckless on purpose? Was he turning these convos into viral clips so prosecutors could swoop in and handle the rest? The whole thing's starting to look too coordinated, from the way he stirs drama and baits people into arguments, to how those leaks magically drop when it helps him the most. It might not all be cold hard proof, but man, the pattern is loud. At some point, you gotta take a step back and really connect the dots. That leaked badge video? Yeah, it sparked the fire, but this ain't new smoke. It's been building for years. Since that 2005 case that disappeared clean. Since Wack somehow knew about that RICO move before the feds even made it. Since his name popped up in wiretap chatter. Since that badge flashed on camera. Since he kept recording people like it was part of his plan. This ain't just sloppy, it's calculated. And the more folks rewind the timeline, the more it's starting to look like Wack's been hiding in plain sight the whole time. And here's the wildest part. For all the people he's called snitches, where's the paper trail? If they were really telling, there'd be receipts. But the only name that keeps showing up where cases disappear and charges fade? Wack's? Exposed? Or do the feds already know everything about him? That's what makes this situation different. It's not just about proving whether Wack's a fed or not. It's about asking the bigger question, what if he really is? What does that mean for all the stories we've been fed? For all the platforms that keep handing him the mic? Yeah, people laugh about it online like it's some wild conspiracy, but it's not funny anymore. Not when real lives are getting torn up because of sneaky moves and backdoor plays. Wack's been the loudest one yelling snitch for years. But now folks are giving him the side eye, wondering if the one screaming the most was wired up from the jump. Because if that's the case, if Wack was working from the inside this whole time, then this entire street game been tainted for years. And here's the craziest part. He's not hiding. He's still out here talking loud, stirring the pot. And whatever he says next, it might be the last spark that blows the lid off everything. If you like this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, drop a comment, and share it with your people. Catch you on the next one.